Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you all to the Hindu and the Businessline editorial analysis on August 11, 2022. I am going to discuss three articles on the editorial forum which are of special importance today. One is the Uncle World Face remarking about the Nitish Kumar's change of favor and change of trust and change of sincerity by quitting the alliance with the BJP and crossing over to the opposition, that is RJD, while being in ruling in power. The opposition is from the national importance. And the second is the square and fair. It makes a reference to the 44th Chess Olympiad being held by the FIDE, that is the World Chess Federation, in alliance with the Indian Chess Federation. And the third editorial I am going to discuss is the hours of disorder, house of disorder. House of disorder refers to the second most shortest house of sessions, that is the 9th session of the 17th Lok Sabha, which has seen that the hours of discussion and the hours of the parliament being reduced to 45 hours just. It is the second lowest of the Lok Sabha sitting. The Uncle World Face, the first editorial, discusses about Nitish Kumar's changing over or crossing over to the other side every now and then. In 2015, he quit BJP to join with the RJD to form the government, to run the elections, to fight the elections and form the government. And in 2017, he quit the RJD to make an alliance with the BJP. Now again he has turned his side to the RJD. Now BJP is remaining as the sole opposition to garner the anti-incumbency votes. The Bihar elections are scheduled in 2024. The anti-incumbency against the change of trust, change of honor and change of sincerity, or the change of guard from the BJP to the local politics and the local RJD. This change of trust and belief is making Nitish Kumar a very infidel politician. The political infidelity which he is expressing. In English, the volte face means always changing the sides. The changing sides has become the Nitish Kumar's only option. He is changing sides every now and then. The people of Bihar are looking on that he is not to be trusted. The JDU is making every fake excuses and lame excuses to change its guard from one party to another. In the present scenario, the public are very skeptical of Nitish Kumar's the short-term motives. The short-term motives are to face the elections which are coming in 2 years from now. And what will happen is that the people will have anti-incumbency sentiments against Nitish Kumar's JDU and Nitish Kumar, because this political infidelity is inviting ruins for the party. For a long term, it is not inevitable. BJP has come as a lone opposition in Bihar, and this is a greater setback for the BJP government at the center. However, this is just vindicating the world face. The world face is changing the sides of Nitish Kumar, and let us wait and watch. The fair and square is about the 44th Olympiad held at the historical city of Mamallapuram, nearby Chennai. When Russia was pulled out of the chess Olympiad because of COVID and the war at Ukraine. In 2020, Russia was pulled out because it was COVID all around, and the recent Ukraine war has made the World Chess Federation take Russia out of the venue for the 44th Olympiad, and Chennai was chosen in March 2022. In a very short span of time, the Chennai and the Tamil Nadu government has proved that it can offer a fair stage for 178 countries competing 1,700 champions from 178 countries. And it has become a very greater visual treat. Thousands visited the Chess Olympiad every day, and we are very much surprised to see the arrangements being made. Vishwanathan Anand, who is a grandmaster and the 5 times champion, is the mentor for the Indian team. The 3 teams have been posted by India, among which India 2, and the India 3, that is women's team. Both the teams won the bronze medals. 7 medals have been won by the talented players, the very young players from India: D. Gugesh, Arjun Erigasi, Prajnananda, Nihal Sarin. These players have made India proud by winning 7 medals. And the World Chess Federation chairperson is the former finance minister of Latvia, and she is well placed with the way in which the chess has been held in the historical city of Mamallapuram. Uzbekistan and India got accolades. So is the case with Ukraine. 5 gold medals for 5 women from Ukraine. It gives a sigh of relief to that war-torn country, where the clouds of darkness is being lifted by the spirits of the chess, which 5 gold medals have brought them. Then the house of disorder from the Businessline. It is very pathetic to see that just 45 hours was the productive hours of the present monsoon session of the Parliament, the 9th session, which has seen that the most of the times the question hour and the 0 hour were cancelled because the opposition was not interested in discussing matters of national importance in the Parliament. 0 hour is the time when the matters of national and international importance, of public importance, can be discussed within a short notice. An MP, a member of Parliament, has to give a notice to the chairman or the speaker in respective houses in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha before 10 a.m. in the morning to discuss matters of public importance in the parliament. Because the matters of public importance cannot wait for 10 days, which is the normal time required for a notice to be given for discussing any matter in the parliament. The question hour is such. The question hour is the first 1 hour of the parliament where especially in the Lok Sabha, where the notice was given 10 days in advance and was approved, and the opposition raises questions to the particular minister of the department, and the minister answers to the questions. In this session of parliament, which is the second lowest session, the 9th session of parliament, that is the monsoon session of the parliament, which is claiming to be the second shortest session, having only 45 hours, the question hour and 0 hour were trampled. Just 98 questions were raised in the 0 hour. When compared to the 7th session, it was 580 questions raised, and in the 8th session, that is the previous session, that is budget session, around 640 questions were raised. So, this is a minuscule exercise of the power to question the executive's powers by the opposition, which is not being availed of by the opposition. It's a pathetic state. Most of the times opposition was walking out when the questions of price rise and unemployment and poverty were being discussed. Instead of discussing and making parliament as a center of discussing on the executive actions and unemployment, the recent Ukraine war and the price rise should have been discussed. Even two important members, Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, was most of the times absent from the parliament. When the fuel rise and the fuel hikes, price rise was to be discussed, these key members were absent, and the inevitable fall down of the exercise of the powers of the parliament has happened. The last eight session, that is the budget session, saw 178 hours of business. Now the very few hours of business, 45 hours, and that too the parliament has adjourned the sine die, that is for indefinitely, 2 days before the conclusion of the session. Shows that how disengaging is the opposition, and the opposition what is thinks we do not know, because 7 bills were passed by the parliament. The executive has required majority to pass the bills without taking opposition into account. The 7 bills were passed. Now the BJP is having 303 members support in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha, and the bills can be raised and passed. Especially money bills can be raised only in Lok Sabha, and most of the bills are being raised like money bills and being passed. This is a very sordid scene, which is very sad to see. The opposition should rise up to the challenges. It is a fragmented opposition now, and it must use its voice to question the move of the executive to one single-handedly corner the parliament to its side. This is not happening, and the 9th session of the Lok Sabha has seen a very gloomy state of the parliamentary exercise of democracy. This has to stop. The correct signals from the democracy is only made when the opposition holds the executive responsible for its actions. This ninth session of Parliament is better to be forgotten. My dear friends, I have come to the conclusion of today's analysis of the Hindu and the Businessline. Meet you tomorrow with some more analysis. Till then, bye, good night.